What's up, you guys? This is Coach Matt. I'm going to be going over Jack LaBolle's meet prep and his training leading into the Florida Collegiate State Championship, where he came to me as an athlete very close to the competition, and we were able to put together a pretty good performance. And I'm going to go over some of the strategies and things we did in order to take a very short time frame and be able to put a lot of kilos on his total. All right, let's get to business here. Mainly, we're going to be focusing on his squat, which we made a ton of progress on. He's a very well leveraged squatter. He has a nice looking squat. Bench, we made some decent progress on. Won't touch that too much. And then deadlift, we made some really good progress on. Wasn't able to show it on the scoreboard. So really off rip, he came to me and we only had 2 blocks. Knowing that, and knowing his previous training history, we just had to make the most out of it and try to add as many kilos as possible. He has competed before. His last competition was basically a year prior. The goal was to beat those numbers. So we came in and we made this first day, it was a full accessory day, and then we made this Tuesday just a high bar day with some accessories, and then Wednesday came in, did sumo with some secondary bench press, and then Thursday accessories. He likes to do his accessories, so we gave him this accessory day to just add in some additional accessory workload. And then Saturday had an SBD day. So with that, the reason being behind this is benching twice a week. He was not a very experienced powerlifter with specific powerlifting training or high specificity. So 2 times a week was probably a minimum effective dosage that could probably get him some progress. So that's why we went with that. And then his dips day acted like almost like a third bench day. And then squat just went with the typical Tuesday, Saturday approach. And then I knew going into that, doing just like Tuesday high bar, some moderate intensity to work would really work out well. Knowing he's a pretty well leveraged squatter, and he's coming off of, he wasn't a very experienced low bar squatter with that. So I knew we could probably implement some high bar as well as some low bar and be just fine with having a little bit of non-specific work on his secondary. So, and then put his sumo on Wednesday because we could have done Tuesday, but I thought with him having it a little bit closer could help with some technique refinement and make him feel prepared on his primary. And then Wednesday bench press, and then Thursday accessory the SBD on Saturday, just because I knew he was going to be competing on a Saturday. It worked well with his schedule, and I figured we'd give it a shot just for predictability reasons. So, and he's a pretty predictable athlete. He's very good with his nutrition and sleep. So the first thing we did was, because of the time frame we had to use a dynamic rep scheme. So I wanted him to touch heavy loads within a short period of time, but also prepare him and kind of give him that potentiation with the moderate rep ranges to be able to potentiate high performance with those lower rep ranges. So you'll see what we did here for squat specifically. We went set of 5, set of 4, and then set of 3, and then set of 2, and then single. This was a wave a week. But again, the idea was we were trying to use this first block in order to get momentum to go into the second block. We knew that second block was going to be our final block. We only had 1 block to really prepare us for that second block. So this first block was all about preparing. And, I feel like that was a pretty decently unique strategy to be able to dynamically change reps and pretty much keep RP within 6 to 8 range throughout the whole block to be able to end off with 220, 485 for a week 4 double, which at his last meet, he was only able to hit 210 on his second attempt on squat. So knowing we would hit 220 for 2 at RP8, we were in a very good spot. And then went on to the second block, and we were able to just ride that momentum very nicely and just do singles the whole entire block to lead up to his heaviest squat, which ended up being the white, so 507. Now, I'll show you his 496 because I don't have his 507. Move really well. Like, I was very happy with how that's actually me right there. Move very well. So knowing that, we knew that week 4 squat we could have around 507, even 518. That went super well, in which on meet day, we were able to squat 235. So we were able to squat 518, which was a perfect call on the day. It went splendid, so we went 3 for 3 on squats, which was super nice. I think it was largely in part due to this awesome structure that we found out from the get-go, which was essentially just moderate rep range squats with a little bit of splash of intensity with high bar. No need for additional specificity on the secondary day, and it went beautifully. And then deadlift. So what we did with deadlift, like I spoke about earlier, we had a secondary deadlift on Wednesday, and he wasn't a very super well leveraged sumo puller, um, but I knew, knowing him, he didn't train sumo really a ton going into starting with me. He really took some time off deadlifts, so I knew we needed to get some good rep work in to kind of get him reacclimated to the technique itself. So I just put him on setting reps, moderate to high rep range. Again, wasn't really taking like a fatigue management style deadlifting programming with him, um, because of the fact that this first block we really just needed to get a lot of reps in, and I really had no data to suggest that these reps would be bad even. So I was kind of shooting in the dark a little bit, going for the sets of 6 secondary, but it worked out well. The ascending work helped him kind of refine technique, set to set, over and over. What we did on his primary was pretty similar stuff to what we did for squat with the dynamic rep scheme. So we did a set of 5, set of 4, and then set of 3, and then set of 2, and then worked our way into a single, in which we want to do a single heaviest 2 weeks out. So be able to ramp from this like deload week, wave load week single right into another 1, 2, and then 3 weeks of training. You'll see this was his heaviest deadlift of prep, which went pretty well. But you'll see he isn't the most well leveraged, most efficient sumo puller in the world. But I was very happy with that. So we knew we probably had probably 5 kilos up on top of that on meet day if everything went well. And that this structure went really, really well. Now the second block though, what we did do is, just because I wanted to really have him hone in on good technique with heavier weights, as well as being able to really focus on his positioning off the floor, we did some secondary 2-count pause deadlifts with a single. So this turned out really well. Touching this heavier load did really help him execute better with the heavy weights on his primary, which we really had to execute very nicely on this week 3, because that was the heaviest deadlift 2 weeks out. So it went really well. So that was the main change we did from the block 1 to block 2. So, and then on meet day, because we were fighting for placing, so this was the meet he had right here. So 235 squats. We were able to go 3 for 3 on squat, which was awesome. That smokes his last meet. And then bench, we did miss our third on bench, 132.5. So we only matched his best bench, but 127.5 moved pretty good. So we were happy with that. And this should all be taken in the context that we were cutting into a weight class. So we were cutting into 75 for placing reasons and for collegiate team reasons. So granted that we made tremendous progress on squat while cutting a good amount of weight. And then at least we were stronger on bench. We just weren't able to put it on the scorecard. And then deadlift, you'll see there's a massive jump here from 245 to 270. So this 245 moves so well. I mean, like, incredible. And we were fighting for placing. And his main goal of this meet, knowing it's a collegiate state championship meet, and there's no real, pressure or to just get a PR total at this point, because we did so well in squat. He wanted to just send it on deadlift and get him whatever was needed to bump up his placing. So we sent in 270, and he was so close. He just barely missed that lockout. But he really had the strength for probably 265, 267.5 possibly. So knowing our heaviest deadlift in prep, like I said, was 250, that was a huge, huge win. Being able to know that strength was there for the 250, which he hit his last meet, so he didn't get a meet PR here. But overall, on all 3 lifts, we were stronger. And more of the story here is that although we did not go 9 for 9, we went 7 for 9. We came out really strong, and just due to the nature of the competition, we had to send some lifts, especially deadlift, primarily deadlift, in order to try to secure placing. We had a really good day, to PR the total, PR the dots, and everything while missing 2 lifts. So it was a really, really good meet. It was a pleasure coaching Jack, and we are continuing training right now. And our next meet is planning to do CNATs in 2025. He will not be part of the University of South Florida anymore. He'll be part of University of Tampa if he does compete, but we're looking to continue to build and go into the 82.5 weight class so we don't have to deal with cutting anymore and really focus on increasing his bench press. So hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. I thought it would be cool to talk about our use of the dynamic rep scheme in order to potentiate a really good meet. So have a good one, guys. Any questions, comments, or anything, leave them down in the comment section. And thank you for watching.